expert advice. Today we have with us Mr. Dinesh Padwal, who is an architect for the last 39 years. He has developed a concept which has not been even thought of in India as well as the entire world. Let me brief you up about this. Now this is something called as redesigning architecture, town planning with Vastu. Sounds strange? But definitely it's not impossible. Now let us first welcome our guest who will discuss with us this topic. So welcome to the show, sir. If I ask you to define the concept, how would you define it?
In the world, this particular concept for the first time is developed by me for redesigning architecture and town planning with Vastu before commencing fresh work on site, huge extra savings and prosperous human life. At the same time, this is eco-friendly also.
So first of all, I would like to know how you thought of redesigning architecture and town planning with Vastu.
See, right from the beginning when I initiated my general practice, basically I have practiced as an architect generally till 30 years of time.
Oh, that's quite long time.
Yes. And thereafter I initiated with the as a specialization in redesigning. I received plans from the clients. They had already designed by some architects, and the same plans were redesigned by me and gave miraculous results. This particular concept is not known to everyone, even known to the people from real estate also. So I can redesign in such a fashion that lots of saving will be there accordingly, and that will be eco-friendly also at the same time. And precisely space management is achieved in that.
Okay, so how to go about it, sir? Is it before construction or is it after construction?
See, this redesigning is done before construction. In this case, what happens is everybody appoints his own architects and finalizes the plans for construction. But sometimes they feel that why not? We should go ahead for the second opinion.
So if I had to ask you, what are the steps or procedures involved in the entire concept? So what are those?
See, first of all, the person or individual, he should give me his plans prepared by, final plans prepared by his architects, and thereafter I'll scrutinize the plans and I'll let him know what I can do.
So now my next question is, if one goes for redesigning of such kind, so what are the salient features involved? Like what benefit one gets?
See, salient features, there are construction cost is reduced. First of all, carpet area is increased, best light ventilation is there, spaces inside are utilized properly, means utility area is increased.
Okay.
And outside open spaces also, they too are increased.
Okay.
And because of that, the environment becomes positively vibrant.
So you spoke about natural light and ventilation being provided in these kind of plans. So tell me, how is it achievable through redesigning?
See, first of all, building plans or whatever plans, architectural plans are prepared in accordance with the climatic conditions and topographical conditions of the land. These two points affecting this particular light and ventilation.
One more point that you mentioned was, the construction cost be decreased by this kind of procedure. So how is it that possible?
See, this is possible because construction cost increases because of some different offsets are provided to the building, and sometimes column grid is not maintained, and because of not maintaining column grid, it creates eccentric load on the structure. So in my redesigning, I try to maintain this grid so that the cost will be reduced.
Talking about one more salient feature of redesigning was that you said you can have more open spaces in this kind of plan. So, talking about an area like Mumbai, wherein, it's a concrete jungle, there are hardly any spaces inside. So if someone devises this plan inside their buildings or apartments or complexes, so how does that ensure open spaces in their own vicinity?
See, I'll give you one example. This particular example is of Sunil Mantri developers
Okay.
for the Bangalore project.
Hmm.
And in this case, what happened is, this was the case where the plot size was 700 feet
Okay.
and average width was 200 feet.
Okay.
And there was a steep a slope of 1 foot to 50 feet.
Oh.
And the architect had planned the building, one building, total building, and wasted more and more area in roads to connect each and every being. I redesigned the same thing with the open spaces.
Okay, sir. Now you discussed with us your journey, describing about the redesigning concept, which is actually first in the world. Now, one example that you would like to share with us.
Of course. See, there's an example of SRS scheme.
Okay.
Developers are Goyal Ganga
Okay.
from Pune,
Okay.
and this is situated at Kurla East.
Okay.
It was the SRS scheme with on ground floor. It was shopping center. From first and second floor, they were commercial.
Okay.
And thereafter, 7 floors, there was a rehabilitation for the existing slum people.
Okay. Okay.
With only 3 meters open space in between the wings.
Oh.
And I created a miraculous design for them. So this was the old one. Before, if they could have done in accordance with the old plans, the building would have been like this.
This looks very cramped.
Yes. See what I did.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the building was constructed as per my concept.
Okay.
And there are many factors I have worked out over and above the original plans.
Okay.
Around 14 factors are there. And there was win-win situation to everyone,
Okay.
to builders, developers, as well as residents, occupants also.
Okay.
They got healthy and airy, light ventilated premises also.
Time for a short break. Stay with us. So one thing I've also heard is that you have approached Lavasa Corporation.
Lavasa Corporation had declared publicly they want some suggestions from public.
I welcome you back again to Expert Advice. Now let's take our conversation further with our guest, Mr. Dinesh Padwal. So one thing I've also heard is that you have approached Lavasa Corporation for the redesigning of their township. If you could share that story with us.
See what happened some 2 years before. Lavasa Corporation had declared publicly that they want some suggestions from public.
Oh,
So what improvement can be done?
okay, okay.
So just I thought of redesigning this 25,000 acres huge township, and maybe this is the huge township in the world
Okay.
at the moment, because American architects, some other foreign architects from Shanghai or Hong Kong, Singapore, and those people have worked on this particular concept. Master plan has been prepared by those people, and they have really done well. But again, I wanted to redesign over and above that, whether I could do it.
Okay.
So I could get the plans, their plans, from the internet.
Oh,
Yes, all building plans and layouts also, master plans also. And accordingly, I thought over it and I got the results.
first of all, I would like to know, how does a developer benefit from this kind of redesigning?
First of all, the plan, whatever I do, whether it is townships or individual building plan or bungalow or whatever, it is done with the precise space management,
Okay.
and it is always eco-friendly, and therefore, and also construction costs and everything
Yeah.
is best possible I provide in the plan,
Correct.
and therefore positive vibrations are created
Exactly.
in the premises inside as well as outside,
Okay.
in the open spaces also.
As the saying goes, health
Yes.
is more important than anything else. So this was about the developers.
Yeah.
Now talking about the open spaces also, and talking about utility areas, carpet area being now that's something beneficial for residents also.
Yes.
So few points that you could enlist which are very much beneficial for residents when you're talking about this kind of redesigning.
See, one thing, individual premises are designed in such a fashion that every inch is utilized.
Okay.
So because of this, everyone is comfortable.
So you mentioned so many concepts about your redesigning architecture, town planning with Vastu. Now, one thing that I would like to know is any illustration or any example that you could share with our viewers.
This is the illustration of SRA project
Okay.
developed by Goel Ganga Developers from Pune. It is situated in Kurla East.
Okay.
In this case, total scheme was designed by the previous architect, crammed areas.
Okay.
There were ground plus 2 upper shopping center and commercial, and above 7 floors there were 4 towers, SRA rehabilitation.
Okay.
And this was redesigned by me in different fashion.
Okay.
I made it in such a fashion that it was completely changed. In that case, what happened is sale component and rehab component, they were crossing each other, and that was the main minus point of the project.
Oh.
And the same point, I removed it completely, and that made the project commercially viable. There are other points also are there. Open spaces were not available there at the back. Suppose a fire engine, in case of fire, the fire engine could not enter the premises.
Correct.
In that case, I could provide more open spaces. Cost of construction also was reduced.
Oh.
In that case, a grade of columns was maintained properly.
Okay.
Builder was benefited tremendously
Oh.
over and above this because of this redesigning.
That's amazing. This was about the buildings. Now, could you tell me any township that you have redesigned?
Yeah. There is one more township is there at Ratnagiri Guhagar.
Okay.
In that case also, I have taken into account the open spaces, means placement of open spaces. It must be proper.
Correct.
And the road network, that too must be proper. And here, you can observe in my plan, the open space has been brought to the center.
Oh.
And this is like our lungs.
So it's like promoting healthy life for the residents
Of
as
course,
well as
of course.
the people around the
Yeah.
area. So you shared with us the plans of townships, buildings. Now, as an individual developer or builder, how do these people benefit from the redesigning concept?
Of course, they will be benefited, but they should come forward with their plans,
Okay.
with their own architects, final plans.
Okay. So you spoke about, utility areas, carpet areas being increased, more open spaces. Now that promotes healthy living for the residents. Okay. So over and all, as a resident, if my building has this redesigning concept, how would I benefit from it?
Of course, you will be benefited because that plan will be eco-friendly first, and because of eco-friendly situation, you will be benefited.
Now, your concept is the one which is first in the world,
Yes.
and it's really amazing. Like, I saw the plans, I heard a lot from you. That's very interesting. Now, the viewers who shall see the show will be, they will be very much inquisitive. They will be very curious to know about this project more.
Yeah.
Now, to study that in detail, do you think such kind of concepts be introduced in educational systems, especially for architects and town planners?
In education system, we have 5 years course in architecture called
Correct.
for graduation, and in that particular course, everything is taught to the students.
Okay.
Many subjects are there
Correct.
in relation with the architecture, planning, and everything. Say climatology or design, engineering, and many subjects are there.
Okay.
And what I have done is I have studied the subjects very deeply
Okay.
after I got graduated, because everything is not possible to be taught in the course.
Correct.
There are many things we have to take experience personally also, practical experience.
Correct.
We have to study many things. They are not there in the curriculum.
Exactly.
So I studied all the factors very deeply and precisely, and they brought the results. And this concept is developed by me only, with the blessing of my Guru, Gagangiri Maharaj Padwal.
Okay.
And because of spiritual and meditative, this is an additional this thing. Not only architecture course as such, but meditative and spirituality can give me the best possible results.
Time for a short break. We'll be back really soon. Talking about architecture, redesigning. Now, Vastu is something very spiritual path.
It is Vastu Shastra. Even in my concept also I have written.
I welcome you back again to Expert Advice. Now let's take our conversation further with our guest, Mr. Dinesh Padwal. Okay, sir. Talking about architecture, redesigning, town planning. Now these are very, kind of scientific, technical words.
Yes.
Now Vastu is something very, it's a spiritual path, or I think it's very different from, when we say about architecture. Vastu is something which is very, not very relating. Now, how did you thought of combining the two?
See, first of all, people should understand that Vastu, whatever we call it Vastu,
Correct.
is Vastu Shastra.
Okay.
And we have made it as a short form.
Okay.
It is Vastu Shastra. Even in my concept also I have written.
Okay.
Vastu means Vastu Shastra.
Okay.
This is a Sanskrit word.
Okay.
And this particular word means architecture.
Oh, this was something unheard of until.
It is architecture.
Okay. I think even viewers should, give an earful to this. So, how it is like, how
Yes.
Vastu is called architecture.
And what happened is, because that particular Vastu Shastra, I have studied in deep.
Oh.
Whatever nowadays people discuss about. So I have studied deep and deep. From Purana, these people have got the things.
Correct.
Then Vishwakarma Puran, then Skanda Puran is there. Some Upanishads are there. Some other books are also there. Samarang and Sutradhara.
Okay.
That book was written by Varaha Mihir.
Okay.
He was the great king,
Okay.
and that is in Sanskrit. So far, no one has translated that particular book. And lately, I have seen Kautilya Arthashastra,
Okay.
and in that also they have mentioned about architecture
Correct.
and Vastu Shastra also.
Okay.
I studied all the modern and ancient, both things
Okay.
simultaneously. Studied all the civilizations all over the world.
Oh.
They were never taught to us in our curriculum also. For example, civilization at Inca, South America, Mexico. None of the architecture student knows about it till he passes out. Some African is there, some Australian civilizations are there, some Indonesian, like that many civilizations
Yeah.
are there, and accordingly they developed it. In Europe, Roman civilization, then Greek civilization, Egyptian was also there. I studied all these things, and ultimately I came to know that whatever we studied in architecture college is the same whatever written in the books.
Sir, if I had to ask you to define Vastu, how would you define it?
Vastu means a structure.
Okay. So once again, I would like to ask you a question. Now this comes from the viewer's point of view. Now you spoke about Vastu being a spiritual thing, and architecture is something, which is building planning. Now I would like to ask you again how these two are correlated.
First of all, I would like to explain to you about Vastu Shastra. What is that? See, there are n number of living beings on earth.
Correct.
including human being. Except human being, every creature, every animal, or whatever, whichever living beings are there, they are naturally gifted by the knowledge of selecting or constructing their vastu.
Correct.
You can see many vastus of the insects or some birds also.
Oh.
Some are made up of grass, some are made up of clay, or there are many. Then honeycombs are there.
Exactly.
You can see, and they do it so precisely since many years.
Correct.
But human being, he is talented due to his talent.
Correct.
He plans out the things as per his requirements.
Correct.
There are n number of requirements, residential, commercial, whatever, industrial also. And accordingly, he plans out the things. Now, this particular Vastu Shastra, I mean to say, is evolved since years together. So, the construction of military or whatever, these kinds of structures are different. So, these are changeable
Okay.
as per the period goes on, as per the society's structure, economic structure, climatic conditions, and accordingly it changes.
Okay.
For example, there were recently about the computer, for example. We can go back to 30-40 years. There was a computer having 1,000 square feet area with AC rooms,
Exactly.
and many engineers were there. They used, and accordingly they used to maintain it. But what happened now? It is on the tips. Architecture of Vastu is nothing but space management as per the requirements. So, in the ancient period, whatever written in the books, it is right. I don't argue on that. That was right as per the then period.
Exactly.
That period.
Exactly.
But now things are changed,
Exactly.
and we have to go accordingly.
Yes, of course.
And we have to take into consideration all cosmic energies, such as 5 elements we say. Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash. Prithvi means earth. Aap means water. Aap means jal. Vayu means air.
Correct.
Vayu and Akash, space.
Correct.
And fire.
Yes.
In this case, fire we are not considering while planning.
Okay.
We consider all other 4. Water is there, air is there, then other 4 elements are considered.
Okay.
And accordingly this is planned out.
Okay.
So ancient Vastu and present Vastu is not different.
So your information was quite good. You know, we got to know a lot about Vastu Shastra. I think the concept about Vastu Shastra that we had in our minds is completely changed now.
Yeah.
Thanks to you for that. And thank you so much for coming on our show. So this was Mr. Dinesh Padwal speaking on redesigning architecture, town planning with Vastu. This is an entirely different concept which has been devised by him. Now we wish him all the best so that we can reap the benefits of this concept in our lives very soon. For more information on architecture, town planning and real estate as a whole, keep watching Spin TV. Goodbye, take care.